Hello friends, and welcome to another episode of Change. One of the things that you can all see today in the world is the change in the way how we look at things, especially due to our educational backgrounds. The rate of literacy is going up, whether it be India or it be in any developing nation. With the change in education systems, with the change of literacy, we are seeing a different way of looking at things. We look things more scientifically, more logically. Sometimes we might not find answers, but yet we strive to look at things in the same perspective. But often when we do not find answers, we feel, where is it heading? At times we also see that parents are not so educated and children are. And that creates a conflict. Does this change have to always be like this? Does this change have to be a cause of conflicts? Today, we have Sister Usha with us in the studio. Let us explore these aspects of change. Didi, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Om Shanti.
When I look at change, we all know things are changing.
Yeah.
For better or for worse. Sometimes people say that all change is good.
Yeah.
But we also say that changes are happening for better or for worse. One of the things that I say today is the change in perspective that we have. The way that we used to look at things 50 years ago is not the same thing today.
Yeah.
I would rather say the way of looking at things 10 years ago was different compared to what we have today.
Yeah.
So when we see this change of perspective, we are seeing challenges associated with it. I would say in organizations and corporates, we have people who are there to handle changes. Many organizations are merging. Many startups are overtaking smaller companies. Work cultures are changing. So mergers and acquisitions are happening. So a lot of changes happening at all different aspects. So when you look at these changes, do you really see all changes are healthy or good changes? Or do you believe the second statement that for better or for worse, change is happening?
Well, I would say that maybe all changes may not be so good and acceptable, but whatever changes are happening has a definite reason behind it. Or I would say there is a secret behind it. We have to understand this secret. Because anything which are changing and moving into a wrong direction, and finally we can see it is going towards a degrading stage, anything which goes to that extreme, it has to go. This is the law of nature. When things start changing, they have to go into a gradual degradation, and when it reaches its extreme, from there is a U-turn.
When you pointed out about these things going down, degradation happening, I remember the law of thermodynamics, which says that the system, in any closed system, entropy increases.
Yeah.
There is more and more chaos and the order becomes lesser and lesser.
Yes, yes.
So when you see this, it is a scientific way of looking at things.
Yeah.
But then we are also trying to make things right, want things in order. No?
Definitely we want things to move in order, but instead of trying to control those things, because there are certain places where I don't have my control. My circle of control is away from me. I cannot control things, but at least I can control myself. Isn't it? So when I can control myself, it is better not to expect things to move according to the way I want it. But if I have understood that those things are going into that chaotic stage, then I make a right choice at that time. Because choices are within my own control.
True.
So let me make a right choice so that I do not flow with that change and degrade myself to that level. Understand it, as you said in the law of entropy, that anything moves from an organized stage to a disorganized stage. So it is going towards that disorganized stage. I have to understand. So I do not have to flow with it, but somewhere I need to control myself. And this is where actually in Bhagavad Gita also God has said to Arjuna, control your own senses, discipline your mind, instead of flowing with whatever was going on in Mahabharata. Otherwise it is just going to create a frustration.
What is more surprising is when you said Mahabharata, there is a war going on.
Yeah.
And yet Gita says that you control. Many people would say, when there is a war happening, let's all fight.
But actually this war was the war inside.
Yeah.
God can never teach us a violent war. But He always gives us the wisdom of how to be in the war that is going inside. The struggle that each and everyone is leading in their life. So how to win each and every battle of life. So that is why, in order to win the battle of life, I need to discipline my mind. I need to control my senses.
Very beautifully said. I think when I was listening to you, you had also said previously that water takes the shape of its own mold. It doesn't have its own shape. But there are situations which are already negative. There are situations which are harmful. Like I said, there is literally a war going with things that are happening. Sometimes our own homes become battlefields.
Yeah.
Because it has more become the field of right and wrong. About education, there was a time when we were not so educated. Not all of us went to school. But people still were educated, they had. Today, many of us are pursuing master degrees and PhDs. Our IQs have gone up. But at the same time, when we have to deal with our family, sometimes between generations, between parents and children, we say, oh, mom and dad cannot understand our point of view. Most often, youngsters say, that time has changed. It is no longer that time. Why don't you understand?
Yeah.
This is the reason why we have to fight with you every day. So, the younger generation has a different IQ. Probably the older generation does not have it.
Actually, those parents are also educated. Sometimes they are at very good positions also. But sometimes what happens, that their ego comes in between. And this battle in the homes are mostly between the egos of different personalities, whether it is the child and the father. And they hold on to it. They don't want to give up their point of view. They feel as if, no, they are elder, they are correct. And the younger feel, oh, we live in this generation, we know, we understand what is happening in the world. So they stick to their view, and they are not able to see. Sometimes, in fact, sometimes I would say they are both fighting for the same thing.
True.
One is going differently and the other one is, but actually they are both fighting for the same thing.
The goal is the same,
Same,
the
yeah.
end result is the same.
So it is just because of ego. And it is not that the elders are not educated, they are quite experienced. So, on the basis of their experience, their IQ has been developed, and the younger people's IQ has been developed on the basis of education, literacy. So, their view of observing things is from on the basis of what education tells them or education has taught them, and their viewpoint is on the basis of their experiences. So, this is where sometimes we need to develop that synergy. And I think in that case, even the elders also, if they give up their ego, then the youngsters will also give up their ego. But if they don't want to change, then this people also doesn't want to change. So, it is better if we come into, and that is where actually the mother's roles are, to develop this energy between the father and the son, between the husband and the son. And if she is able to do that, many families which are breaking up today can be saved. And in order to play that role, the mother has to adopt the spiritual angle, because only with the spiritual angle she will be able to unite both of them. She will be able to understand both of them. Otherwise, the son would also say, "Oh, you are going to take his side, I know." And if she takes the side of the child, the husband would say, "I know you are going to take his side only." She has to deal with both the personalities and at the same time understand both of them and create this synergy and make them understand that they are both actually saying the same thing in different language.
Somewhere the scientific temperament that many people today think that they possess, rightly or wrongly, I would not say, but most of us argue on this point, argue on this standing, that there is the scientific base why I am telling you to do this. As simple as an example could be, for example, if you have a cold, and often in the medical line we say, it is very popularly said, that if you have cold, common cold, if you take medicine, you will get well in 1 week's time. Just 1 week you will be all right. But if you don't take medicine, it will require 7 days for you to get well.
Yeah.
So now, even though it might be the same thing, and many people in the olden days would always believe that, okay, if you have a cold, do gargling with salt water, drink warm things, stay away from cold things, probably do some other things as well. But today, scientific temperament, we say, no, you're not taking medicine. It will take 7 days now. So, even though it might be the same thing, but I'm arguing from the basis of a scientific temperament, where I believe that my point of view, my perspective has a better standing because I stand on scientific grounds.
Yeah.
Whereas I might not consider your wisdom wise enough.
Although it is a scientific temperament, but if we are really on the scientific temperament, yesterday, no, day before yesterday, I was just listening to one news, and it was saying that in 2 years' time, all the antibiotics are just going to fail. So, although it is a scientific temperament, and they feel we have to take medicine, but if the medicine is not going to
work
on the body, what are you going to do? So, definitely we need to understand our body also, first of all, which pathy maybe will be more useful for me in the long run also, that will keep me away from that cold. So, understanding our own functioning of the body, understanding the scientific temperament also, understanding the cause of the cold, the cause of the cold. Because I know a person, whenever she has cold, she understands that I got this cold because I was in the outside heat. So it was due to the heat that I've got this cold. Now to get over this, I need to eat an ice cream. And the ice cream will cut the cold. Cold just as an iron cuts an iron. So cold cuts the cold. So she would always take an ice cream whenever she has cold. And the next day she will be okay. Yeah. So she understands her body.
She knows how their body is, how her body functions.
Yeah. So it is not just the scientific temperament or the wisdom, but we have to understand our body, our mechanism, why I got this cold, on what basis. And the same thing for people, I can say, those who have gone out in the heat wave and then they drank cold water or something like that. So they've got cold. So it depends what my body system is, and understanding our own body system, mechanism of it, let me do what my body is demanding for me at that time. If I've got that cold and cough, then I need to take up measures which my body is demanding.
So the change here is not about just the scientific temperament, but it is the change in the way that I look at things holistically. Yes. It's about the whole picture.
Yeah.
Most of the times we don't do it.
Yeah.
And very often today, because of our scientific acumen, we tend to see everything in the light of science and often miss out on the holistic approach as well. The next question that I have is, as much as I want to look at things holistically, as much as I want to change my way of looking things, it often becomes difficult because of the conditioning that I have had. Okay? I was born in a city. I was educated in a city. Even though I had gone to the rural parts of the country, spent my vacations there, but many of my friends are who never left the city. They have always lived there, now they're working there. So for them, their way of life has always been like this.
Yeah.
And when somebody suggests something else, that probably this might help, probably change this thing, the first thing that comes is negation, saying that, oh, this is folly, this doesn't work. So this becomes a very difficult thing to change a perspective, because I have always been in that mold.
Yeah.
So if I have to change, how do I really do it?
What happens that nowadays, on the basis of the social media, although people are living in the cities, they have never been to the villages or the rural areas, but because of social media, they are able to know what the rural life is very well and what practices are going on everywhere. Social media gives them all sorts of new inputs also. And not only that, but they show also the results. So when they show those results, maybe they think as if, let me try it out. Or we can tell them also, although you say it's not going to work for you, okay, it may not work for you, but there's no harm in trying it out. What I feel, it is all on the way we approach to those scientific temperament people and those who are in that mold. Instead of directly like imposing on them, do this, try this out, this will work for you, then there is resistance definitely. But if we put it in a better way, that we take up an example maybe, how it had worked on somebody and to what extent it had worked on him and how it was a miraculous experience that they had. Make it so interesting. The way of approaching and putting things in the in that way, in that context, should be so unique that the person will feel tempted. Okay, let me try it.
Even if not accept, just at least
Yes.
give it a shot.
Yeah. Another thing I would say is that although definitely we may be in the city mold, but that does not mean we have to reject others' ideas, because whatever they are saying also are on the basis of some of their experiences. And they have had results. So instead of immediately resisting or rejecting their ideas completely, respect other people's views also. And if people are able to respect, then they can learn more, because life is a learning process throughout.
Very interesting. This
Yeah.
is a very good thing.
Yeah. There is no phase where we can say, yes, I know everything completely and I don't need to learn anything. No, life is a continuous process of learning. So, instead of coming in that state of ego and rejecting others' ideas and rejecting other, we may try it out, or we may at least make other people also feel comfortable that their views are also respected, and we can do something. Okay, we can try it out. Maybe there will be a new experience. If we try something new, we get a new experience.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And science itself says
Yeah.
that science is this journey of discovery.
Yeah.
It is to explore more and more,
More,
and
yeah.
more. If science itself tells you, and if you believe that you have a scientific temperament, probably you must apply this principle to yourself first.
Yeah.
Very beautifully said, Didi. And I think our friends would agree today
Yeah.
that this would help us to look at things with a changed perspective altogether.
Yes. Definitely.
Thank you so much for sharing those insights, Didi.
Om
Thank you.
Shanti.
Friends, that was this episode of Change. So much that we can bring about a change in our lives. So much that conflicts need not be conflicts. Point of views can always change. Probably it is the same thing that we are both looking at. Probably a change of perspective, a change of point of view, a change of our views of accepting things, of keeping our minds open that life is a journey of learning will help a great deal to deal with these changes. Thank you very much for joining us. We will see you soon. Till then, take care.